to really talk down and measure. This is shocking.
The Prime Minister has complied with those ethics guidelines. The opposition don't like that so much, so they dig dirt on day one.
Got a little snapping turtle in the House of Commons here. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. Today we got Mark Carney's first question period, which he storms out in because he doesn't like the questions. And here I thought we were going to have a nice and simple question period. Mark Carney comes out of the gate, insulting Pierre Poilievre, snaps back at Andrew Scheer, then gets grilled, takes off, and he leaves his ministers, including Tim Hodgson, new energy minister, to get absolutely grilled himself. Among all the rest of them, let's jump into this. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this question period, I think this one sentence here sums up this Liberal government.
I want to be clear. If Canada wants to be an energy superpower, the Prime Minister has stated it. It's going to be low cost, low risk, and low carbon. We're going to get projects built right across our country while making sure that we protect the environment.
Yeah, that carbon capture, because Brookfield has a lot of investment in that. So jumping out of the gate here, Mark Carney picking up where Trudeau left off.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to welcome the Prime Minister to his first official question period. This is where democracy lives, and this is where we provide rigorous scrutiny on every word he says and every dollar he spends on behalf of Canadians. Now, let's talk about those words and dollars. During the election campaign, it was elbows up as he put retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. Then secretly, he dropped those tariffs to effectively zero. But he didn't stop there. He told Canadians that the government would collect $20 billion in revenue from those tariffs and use it to cost his platform. Now that those tariffs are going to bring in $0, two quick questions. Why wasn't he honest with Canadians during the election? And how's he going to make up the shortfall? Is he going to borrow it, print it, or tax it?
Mr. Speaker, may I first thank my constituents from Nepean for giving me the honor of
You might as well thank Chandra Arya while you're at it. You kicked the guy out of the seat who's been there for 9 years and didn't disclose why you kicked him out.
Could you also indulge me to say how great it is to see you in the Speaker's chair, and I trust that you're operating under the period of grace that will not be accorded to me. Appropriately, as the Leader of the Opposition just said. Mr. Speaker, our tariffs have maximum impact on the United States, minimum impact on Canada, and we are dedicating all the revenues from those tariffs to supporting the workers and businesses affected by the unjustified American actions.
Hear, hear. He didn't answer the question.
Well, he didn't take long to pick up old Liberal habits of not being able to answer questions.
Yeah.
But since the election, Canadians have been inundated with grand rhetoric and pretty speeches from this Liberal Party, but they are still suffering under all those policies. Household debt up at record levels. Number of people who can't pay their mortgages increasing. Food bank use continuing to rise. Now TD Bank is forecasting a recession with hundreds of thousands of lost jobs. The PM said undoing the damage of the last 10 years would require great speed, but he's not going to table a budget for 6 months. If he's the man with the plan and the guy you hire in a crisis, why won't he table a budget before he goes on summer vacation?
Mr. Speaker, I understand the member of the opposition is very busy, didn't have a chance to study closely the 100-day plan of the former member from Ottawa, Carleton, which did not include a budget. Our plan includes legislating for one Canadian economy and nation-building projects immediately to grow this economy, and we expect the support from all in this House.
They expect the support. Easy there, Stalin. Notice how he just took a direct shot at Pierre Poilievre, the former member of Carleton. And here I thought this was going to start off nice and easy. It's getting right into the nasty right away, isn't it? It's like Mark Carney setting the tone here. He wants to show everyone that he's the nastiest snake with the most amount of venom in the room. Didn't have a chance to take a look at the plan of the former member of Carleton, insulting Scheer and Poilievre in one go.
They must be really afraid to come clean with Canadians if they're going to punt it off into the fall. But Mr. Speaker, with the throne speech yesterday, Liberals have effectively admitted that it was their policies that caused the suffering for Canadians. Their reckless borrowing and massive deficits caused the inflation. The carbon tax drove up prices and drove away investment. And their anti-development bills chased jobs out of Canada. Now, the Prime Minister is claiming that somehow the Liberals have changed. Well, he has a chance to prove it to Canadians. If he's serious, will he tell Canadians that pipelines are part of his values by repealing Bill C-69, the No More Pipelines bill? The right honourable.
Good question. Stick it to him right away. I should note something here, too. If you look where Mark Carney's sitting, to his left, he's got Gregor Robertson, I believe 2 or 3 seats down, and he's got Tim Hodgson just 2 seats to his right. I mentioned this earlier. These are his right-hand men. The more important people are on the front bench, and the closer to the Prime Minister typically are the closest to the Prime Minister himself.
Canada's new government is acting immediately to grow this.
What's this smile? He knows he's full of crap. This is no new government. His whole election platform was written before he even stepped into the role. Not to mention half of his cabinet was there for Trudeau, and most of the caucus are just all the same bozos.
Economy. I just made my maiden speech in this House. Canada's new government, Mr. Speaker, is acting immediately to grow this economy. 1 Canadian economy out of 13, nation-building projects, 1 project office, working with the provinces to cooperate. We expect the support for the members opposite.
Here, here.
That's not how this works. You don't get to expect support. Does he think he's running some sort of boardroom and he's the CEO? That's not how this works here. Check this out. So a bloc leader here calling out Carney, saying Donald Trump and any mention of him not in the throne speech.
I'm wondering how it is that this terrible crisis that got our Prime Minister elected, how did it just get forgotten in the throne speech? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Now, for those who were there at the throne speech, for those who were there, we heard about transformation in the throne speech, the transformation of the global trade system, which is a crisis for Canada, a security crisis for Canada. We have a daring plan in order to respond to this crisis.
He's got no response for it. He's getting dropped into the fire here quick. Did you see that little hand motion for those who were there? So the bloc leader didn't show up. The Bloc Québécois boycotted the throne speech. Mark Carney just with these nasty jabs. I think he's more nasty than Justin Trudeau. That's what we're seeing here right out of the gate.
Before taking office, the Prime Minister helped establish multi-billion-dollar investment funds that were placed in offshore tax havens. Now he's shielding those investments from public scrutiny with a blind trust that hides but doesn't remove potential conflicts of interest. Now, Canadians are lined up at food banks in record numbers. They can't pay their rent, but they are paying their taxes, and they want to know if the Prime Minister paid taxes on his investments. So can the Prime Minister, who I welcome here today, confirm that none of the investments that he placed in the blind trust were previously held in offshore tax havens?
They're here.
Mark Carney has around 400,000 shares in Brookfield. Those stock options before the election were worth $9.3 million. Today, they're worth $11.5 million, which means Carney has already gone up $2.2 million. And we're just getting started.
You know the Prime Minister has followed all the rules even before they were required. He'll continue complying with all the rules. Opposition members like to distract Canadians with these hypotheticals and conjured scenarios.
There's nothing hypothetical about this, McKinnon. I haven't spent dozens of hours coming up with a hypothetical chart here. This is all backed by sources and evidence. Mark Carney's stock options are listed in the Securities and Exchange Commission report. As of December, it was $6.8 million US. Today's value is $8.4 million US, which is $11.5 million Canadian. There's massive conflicts of interest here. He has to show exactly what is in his blind trust.
The fact is we have a Prime Minister, a new government, hard at work at creating opportunity for Canadians, the strongest economy in the G7, and reducing taxes. The opposition don't like that so much, so they dig dirt on day one. Shame on them, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue our work.
No, we've been digging dirt before day one. You know, as he talks a big game about the Prime Minister. Well, where's Mark Carney? He ran out. He got spooked after the first 2 questions. He's gone.
The Honourable...
Nowhere to be found. He's not sitting on the bench.
Canadians don't want an explanation in how to bend over backwards to fit through ethical loopholes. They want to be reassured that after a decade of serial ethical law breaking, that they can have confidence that the Prime Minister is going above just the basic minimum standard. So the Prime Minister, again, who I welcome to the chamber, can he stand up and just assure Canadians that none of the funds that he had previously were held in offshore tax havens? And can he tell Canadians what those investments were in when he sat at his first cabinet meeting?
Here. This is savage because Michael knows that Carney already ran away, so this already looks bad.
Speaker, Canada has among the stringent...
So you'll notice here, Stephen McKinnon is in Mark Carney's position. This is his chair here. So we look at the official seating plan. We've got Melanie Joly, Stephen McKinnon, and next is Mark Carney. Then we've got Francois Philippe Champagne, Julie Dabrusin. This is that climate zealot. Tim Hodgson. On the other side here, we've got Dominic LeBlanc, Chrystia Freeland, and Gregor Robertson. Mark Carney left after 2 questions, Andrew Scheer and the block. He had enough and just stormed out on his first day as Prime Minister in question period, a Wednesday question period. Wednesday are the ones where Justin Trudeau would answer every single question. He's discontinuing this tradition and storms out on the first day.
Most stringent ethics guidelines in the world. The Prime Minister has complied with those ethics guidelines and surpassed the requirements contained in those ethics guidelines. What the Prime Minister is busy doing is not what this member is busy doing. What the Prime Minister is busy doing is creating opportunity for Canada, standing up in a trade war against the United States, reducing our taxes, building new homes, and creating the strongest economy in the G7. That's what we're up to.
Canadians shouldn't focus on pipelines. We'll tell that straight to the hundreds of thousands of workers who lost their jobs when these Liberals killed pipelines, LNG exports to allies, and capped Canadian oil and gas. Last year, 98% of Canadian crude went to the U.S., Canada's biggest customer and competitor, due to these Liberals. But in April, the PM said he won't repeal their no new pipelines, never build anything unlawful Bill C-69, and ignores premiers and businesses. When will he repeal Bill C-69?
Minister for Natural Resources.
Rise in the House for the first time. I wish to thank the people of Markham Thornhill for their trust.
Just a quick recap. This is Mark Carney's Goldman Sachs buddy. He worked there with him for 13 years. Mark Carney brought him in, handpicked him when Mark Carney was the governor of the Bank of Canada. This guy came in to help him for 1 year. This guy worked in the oil patch. He used to work for Hydro One. This guy knows a lot about energy. He knows a lot about banking. He's a smart man, just like Mark Carney. The two of them together, though, we got to keep our eyes on these guys.
I'm also thinking of my family who have supported me from day one, and my parents who I wish were still with us. It's time to get many projects built here in Canada. We will cut red tape, fast-track projects, and approve them within 2 years.
Look at this, coming out with a written speech.
We will create jobs for Canadians and build the strongest economy in the G7.
This guy's out of his element right now. He's going to be the weak link for the Conservatives to grill because he won't be able to defend himself, at least in the short term here. You know, eventually over time, he maybe gets more comfortable in the House.
In 5 years alone, these Liberals killed 16 major energy projects and $176 billion in options to make Canada affordable, safe, self-reliant, and united. And half these ministers, they're the same. These Liberals must kill C-69, but they can't get their story straight. 2 weeks ago, the Culture Minister said Canada doesn't need more pipelines. Last week, the Energy Minister talked a good game, but just like right now, won't commit to concrete action. How can Canadians believe anything they say? Will they repeal Bill C-69? Yes or no?
The Prime Minister has been clear. Yes, we will support new pipelines if there is consensus in Canada for them.
Look at this. He came with a canned response. He's reading it from a sheet. Come on.
American tariffs threatening our economy and threatening our sovereignty, we must protect our energy security. There is no question energy is Canada's power. It will help us build the strongest economy in the G7, guide the world in the right direction, and help us be strong at the negotiating table. We will win this trade war. We will make Canada an energy superpower.
You notice his hand there. He's just like Wilkinson. There's a lot of, I don't know if Wilkinson was always nervous when he spoke. Some people a little bit jittery, but yeah, he's got the jitters in the hand there. So I'm not sure if he's really nervous. It seems like it. I mean, he's reading from a script. The key takeaway from his response is he said, yes, the Prime Minister will support new pipelines if there's support for them. He didn't say he's going to get rid of C-69. So these guys, once again, playing both sides of the field here again. So next up, Conservative Ellis Ross here asks about the emissions cap. And once again, Tim Hodgson reading from his paper, another canned response with no real answer, just deflecting. So he comes back again here.
Canada's energy potential has been stalled by anti-energy laws from the Liberal government for close to a decade. Will the Prime Minister scrap the job-killing and economy-killing energy production cap?
Yes!
While my Conservative colleagues are interested in playing politics, I'm interested in getting things built.
Yeah, that's not how Canadians feel.
Including pipelines where there is consensus. We will make Canada an energy superpower in both conventional and clean energy by cutting red tape.
Oh, he's just reading out more of the same crap. Look at this. This guy with his little sheet of paper. He has no idea what he just dropped himself into. He's at the epicenter of everything.
Mr. Speaker, we're seeing two very different narratives on housing, one from the campaign and a very different one from the minister. The new housing minister, the former mayor from Vancouver, who let housing prices go up 179% in just 8 years, is saying something very different. The minister answered a resounding no when he was asked if home prices should come down from their record highs. If he's adamant...
I should note, too, Mark Carney just yesterday in his interview said that he doesn't think housing prices should come down either. So they're both on the same page.
...that prices shouldn't go down, how much does he think that they should go up?
On the issue of affordability and affordable housing, well, first, I'm very proud to be part of a government that's committed to cutting taxes from day one here in the House.
They're here.
I'm also looking forward to pursuing the most ambitious affordable housing plan in the history of Canada, delivering a GST cut to first-time home buyers and ensuring we bring the development costs down.
Gregor Robertson, sleazeball, an absolute sleazeball. He's a well-greased politician. Not like Tim Hodgson or some of these other guys. Like Gregor Robertson, 8 years on the job in Vancouver. Their game plan here is they want as many people in Canada having mortgages as possible because Brookfield owns Sagan, the largest mortgage insurer in Canada, and they want a lot of those first-time home buyers as well. It makes sense now why Justin Trudeau was jacking immigration. On the back end, Brookfield was buying up that company. Now they have full ownership. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Trudeau has a lot of stocks in Sagan or Brookfield, any other company related.
The minister ought to know that the housing market is already in chaos. Sellers can't sell and buyers can't buy. It's proving out. Only 310 houses were sold across the entire GTA. That's a staggering 89% below 10-year average. Lower supply, higher prices spells more trouble for Canadians. So instead of building homes and bringing the cost down, he's actually building more bureaucracy. So we know that housing prices went up 179% when he was in charge of housing in Vancouver. How much higher are they going to get when he's in charge of housing for the entire country?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the member, it's not about reducing the value of an individual's home or senior's home. The member may wish to
There it is, seniors home. He really had to mention who their voters are. Don't worry, guys, we're not going to make your housing value go down.
For seniors to sell their homes for less, we're going to focus on building more affordable housing and delivering a cut to the GST to first-time home buyers.
Are they going to have 2 tiers of housing? Affordable and not affordable? Is there a plan to just expand this affordable housing situation where you have to put your name on a list and 5 years later you finally get to win the opportunity to live in affordable housing? You don't get to own that house, but you do get to rent that house without any option to ever moving around, because anyone who gets one of those units, they never want to give them up because they're affordable, unlike every other housing in Canada. How is this fair to all Canadians? It's ridiculous. They need to cut immigration down to 50,000 people per year and start building a ton of houses and incentivize construction workers to move to Canada.
Mr. Speaker, the sale of new homes in the GTA just hit a 7th straight month of record-setting lows. Only 310 new homes were sold in the GTA in April. That's a 72% drop over last year and an 89% drop in the 10-year average. With condo sales plummeting 94%. Wow. The report warns that there will be a massive housing shortage in 2 years. Prices are too high for buyers and they're too low for sellers. So can the Prime Minister tell us what he plans to do to help the buyers that cannot afford to buy and the sellers that cannot afford to sell?
I saw a report the other day in Vancouver where realtors are turning down people who want to list their houses because there are too many listings. That never happens. Realtors are always begging to have more listings. I had an ex who was a realtor. They do absolutely everything possible trying to get listings. So the fact that there's too many listings that realtors like, no, I don't need that. Too many listings, nobody's buying anything, should be sending off red flags to everyone across Canada.
Well, Mr. Speaker, tax relief is certainly welcome, and it's frankly long overdue from this government. But the meager tax cuts that they're talking about will save families $70 a month. We're dealing with families that are looking at $5,000 a month mortgages or more. Equifax is reporting that the mortgage delinquencies in Ontario are at the highest level ever recorded. They're up 70%, Mr. Speaker. This is not a coincidence. It's certainly not a surprise. So instead of building a third federal housing bureaucracy, why don't we just get more homes built?
In one end, it's encouraging that we hear the Conservative will support our motion But it's concerning to remember, Mr. Speaker, to really talk down a measure that will help 22 million Canadians in this country, Mr. Speaker. This is shocking. This is up to $840 for a family with 2 incomes, Mr.
Oh, come on, Champagne. That $400 per year tax cut is nothing. Mark Carney announced it as $800, but it's per couple, so it's about $33 per person, or as he said, about $70. As Scott mentioned, $5,000 per month people are having to pay on their mortgages. That's what's alarming. That's what's shocking.
Mr. Speaker, the people in my riding and his riding are welcoming this measure, and we hope the Conservative will support us. This is how you support Canadians.
I thought the most interesting part of this question period was when Mark Carney first spoke and took that shot at Pierre Poilievre, said the former member for Carleton. The whole bit there saying he understands the leader of the opposition, Andrew Scheer, is busy because the former leader is gone, Pierre Poilievre, and he didn't have time to study the plan. Like, these are just nasty, underhanded, backhanded insults. Mark Carney's a nasty guy. He's got that volcanic temper. I think we can expect to see more of it.